Soundscape, soft waves. A faint, distorted 911 style call plays, panicked breathing. Tourist voice, distorted, frightened. We can't find them, the boat is gone, there's chanting in the distance. Oh God. Thousands of miles from home. A dream vacation. A paradise untouched by time. But for some tourists, the dream turns into something else. A nightmare. Tonight, we travel to one of Africa's most breathtaking lakes. A place of beauty, wonder, and one of the most haunting unsolved mysteries of modern tourism. This is the story of the three friends who vanished without a trace, and the paradise that became their trap, Nyasa. Or, as it's more widely known, Lake Malawi. Stretching Lake over 350 miles, bordered by Malawi, Mozambique, and Tanzania, it is the 9th largest lake in the world, and one of the most beautiful. For travelers, it's heaven. Crystal clear waters, so clean you can see fish darting beneath your feet. Coral reefs alive with color. Villages where fishermen pull in nets by hand, just as they've done for centuries. Backpackers rent kayaks and paddle into hidden lagoons. Couples sip drinks by bonfires on the beach. Local drums echo across the sand while children laugh and chase each other barefoot. It is, for many, the definition of paradise. But like every paradise, it hides shadows. Locals warn visitors, do not swim after dark. Do not wander into the caves alone. And never ignore the whispers carried across the water at night. These warnings are often brushed off by tourists, chalked up to superstition. Yet beneath the surface, the lake holds stories, of drownings, of sudden storms, and of vanishings no one can explain. And in the summer of 2018, 3 friends would join that list. Anna, Lucas, and Michael. 2 from Europe. 1 from America. In their early 20s, full of energy, chasing adventure, eager to see the world. They arrived at Lake Nyasa during the peak of the tourist season. Their hostel manager described them as bright, excited, constantly with cameras in hand. They wanted to capture everything. On their first day, they swam in the shallow waters and filmed the fishermen at work. On the second, they took a boat trip to one of the smaller islands, then returned to town to celebrate at a beach bar. Witnesses recall them laughing, drinking, talking with locals. And then, something happened. The exact timeline is a puzzle of contradictions. One witness said they saw the group arguing with a local guide. The guide wanted to take them into a cave system by boat. The friends, allegedly, wanted to film inside, something that locals strongly advise against. Another claimed they saw the 3 boarding a small wooden canoe in the early hours, long before sunrise. Yet another insisted they heard screaming near the cliffs that same night, followed by silence. By morning, the 3 were gone. Their hostel room was left untouched. Backpacks neatly stacked by their beds. Passports still inside. But their wallets, phones, and cameras were missing. The bar where they had last been seen was just steps from the water. Some say they left willingly. Others believe they were lured. But one thing is certain, after that night, none of them were ever seen again. Eerie drone sound, fade into silence. Act 3 The investigation and cover-ups, 12 to 8 p.m. Narrator. The disappearance sparked confusion and quickly, concern. Local police launched a search. Divers combed the lake. Villagers scoured the shoreline. But from the very beginning, the story began to fracture. Divers claimed they had recovered clothing near the caves. A shirt, they said, lodged in rocks 20 feet below. Days later, the police denied this discovery ever happened. A fisherman came forward with a strange account. He said he had seen fire on the beach that night. And he heard chanting. He believed a ritual had taken place. But when reporters pressed him, he withdrew his statement. And then, the most chilling clue surfaced. One of the missing tourists' phones, Michael's, had pinged a cell tower nearly 50 miles away, 2 days after they were last seen. How was that possible? If they drowned, the phone should have been lost to the water. If they were taken, who was moving it, and why? The investigation stalled. Police reports were contradictory. Witness statements changed. And quietly, rumors began to spread. Rumors of an accident. Rumors of crime. And whispers of something much darker. Theory 1, accident, 13 to 3 p.m. Narrator. The simplest explanation is also the one most officials offered. That night, perhaps the three went swimming. Perhaps they took a boat without proper guidance. Lake Nyasa is unpredictable. Its waves can rise suddenly. Its currents can drag even experienced swimmers under. If they drowned, their bodies might have been pulled into underwater caves, or tangled in deep vegetation, never to resurface. But this theory has holes. Why were their wallets missing? Why did the phone travel miles away? And why did no trace, no bodies, no fragments, ever wash ashore? Another theory points to organized crime. In parts of East Africa, human trafficking networks operate along tourist routes. Foreigners, especially young ones, can become easy targets. Were they robbed and abducted? Was their disappearance covered up by officials unwilling to admit failure, or worse, complicit in the crime? Some believe the investigation itself was sabotaged. Leads ignored. Evidence misplaced. Witnesses silenced. But again, if this was a crime for money, why leave passports? Why never demand ransom? Why vanish so completely, as though they were swallowed whole? And then, the most disturbing explanation. Locals whisper of spirits that live in the lake. They speak of offerings, of rituals that must be performed to appease the water. Outsiders are warned not to disturb sacred caves, not to film where they should not to disrespect the balance. Some say the three friends may have unknowingly trespassed, and that their disappearance was no accident, no crime, but a sacrifice. No proof. No evidence. Only whispers carried on the wind. But whispers that never seem to go away. Distant chanting fades in under narration, then cuts suddenly. Act 4 Horror and Intrigue, 8 p.m., 27:00. Narrator. 3 weeks later, hikers stumbled upon something deep in the forest. A backpack. Torn, muddy, abandoned. Inside was Anna's travel journal. Most of the pages were gone, ripped out violently. But a few entries remained. The last page described unease. A man who had approached them, offering to take them somewhere special. A place tourists were not supposed to see. And then, nothing. The rest of the journal was missing. Around this time, other accounts surfaced. Tourists spoke of hearing chanting across the lake at night. Hostel guests reported footsteps outside their doors, circling, though no one was there. And one diver claimed something had pulled him down during a search. Not the current, he said. Something else. And then, a photograph emerged. Blurry, indistinct. Taken hours before the disappearance. In the background, half hidden in shadow, a tall figure stood, watching. Was it just a stranger passing by? Or the last image of the one who led them into the dark? Years have passed since Anna, Lucas, and Michael vanished on the shores of Lake Nyasa. Their families wait for answers. Memorials are held each year, candles flickering against the vast horizon of water. But the case file remains unsolved. No bodies. No arrests. No closure. Were they pulled under by the unforgiving lake? Were they victims of crime, silenced by corruption? Or did they stumble into something far older, far darker, than anyone dares admit? The truth is lost somewhere in those waters. In paradise, some secrets never surface. And until they do, the mystery of Lake Nyasa remains one of the most chilling tourist disappearances in modern history.